Wales and West Utilities is based in South Wales in the United Kingdom. By any measure, they're best in class from a purchase-to-pay point of view. They've been working for a number of years, very successfully, with a number of solution providers to deliver value in their purchase-to-pay process. So why did they change to Perfect Commerce last year? I went to see them and learned that to extract even greater value out of their purchase-to-pay programme, it was a matter of going back to basics.
Our corporate strategy for last year was to go out to market for a new catalogue provider, as well as look to implement our new SRM system and also to launch our approved vendor list. With all those three in mind, we wanted to put a strategy together which would showcase to our stakeholders and support our suppliers to actually really drive through our procurement policy. In relation to the choice of Perfect Commerce as our chosen catalogue provider, it wasn't in relation to replacing faults we saw in our previous incumbent. It was in relation to taking us forward to actually realise, I suppose, that strategy within a solution which could provide our end users and the business the flexible and dynamic type of search facility we see today. So that was key within the scope of requirements, and that was one of the main reasons why we decided to go with Perfect at that time. So what we'd found over the years working with suppliers and the catalogue incumbent was that we needed a bit more of an instant and a flexible approach to actually get changes back through to production rather than have to wait for some of those delays. So what we've taken the tact with this provider is to actually bring it in-house a little bit more and manage those catalogues ourselves, manage those changes with the suppliers, but actually have the ultimate responsibility to load them to our production site. And that has really given us then the ability to quite quickly turn these changes and the management of those catalogues back to our end users to then go and actually do their job and actually order the items. It could be deemed as a step backwards, but what we're finding in practical terms is that the delays which were being forced upon us by some of these suppliers really impacted our operational supply chain. So we felt we had to take that back in-house a little bit further to actually really understand and realise what we could actually give the end users when they needed it. Next on the list this year from a catalogue perspective is we had to do a like-for-like implementation from our previous incumbent, and what we want to try and do this year is really roll out the ability to control different views, kits, bundles, as well as turn on the quote catalogue to actually then quote from our pool of suppliers, not necessarily the high-end spectrum of suppliers, but also the smaller, lower end of the suppliers, where we can actually enforce our policy and our governance within the remit of the catalogue solution and provide that flexible and dynamic search engine. So that's what we're looking forward to develop this year.
When working in a mature purchase-to-pay environment, it's tempting to reach for even more sophisticated and newer technologies and techniques. But sometimes we don't see the wood for the trees. Some of the best value can be derived from going back to basics and looking at things like great catalogue functionality and really good user experience.